though. Good evening. Welcome to another off-season episode with myself, Robbie Herrick, and the great northern man, Harrison. How are we, sir?
I'm great, mate. Great at work, but you are
looking fresh-faced for having a nipper in the house. You are looking good.
I think that's because I went to the gym this morning, so I've had my weekly shower.
You northerners,
just in a random reservoir lake like us northerners do, without having door plumbing yet.
Mate, I'm surprised you got enough battery on your phone. I didn't know you had electric that far north.
I've got some guy in the big hamster wheel running next to me. So.
No. So you are at work, but we are here to look at the post-draft choices of our beloved Indianapolis Colts. So we'll go through that, and we'll look at some schedule release dates. We'll look at a little bit of Jim Irsay. But as an overview for the draft, what do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts and feelings?
I feel like the experts have been harsh on grading this Colts draft. No first round pick again. It's a common theme under Chris, so I'm used to it. People have downgraded Chris Ballard's draft because of Carson Wentz, which is hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? Hindsight's a fantastic thing. Obviously, we go back now to the start of the season and take Matt Ryan a year younger over a Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
For this season. There's loads of variables, mate. We've been through all that stuff. I'm not going to keep going over it. I don't know much about this draft class. I'm going to be completely honest. So for me, that indicates a weak draft class, because usually you hear donkey's worth of information and stuff about every single player in the draft, and I've simply heard nothing. I'll tell the story. I told it to Robbie before we came on. Obviously, no day one, so day two, decide to stay up with the baby. I'll do the missus a favour and stay up and look after the kid.
You are a hero. You are a hero.
Yeah. So I end up falling asleep, missing the 42nd. Ended up being the 53rd pick.
Yeah.
Wake up just in time for the second pick. The baby needs a nappy change, and I completely missed the second pick. So day two was pointless, and I couldn't even be asked with day three at that point. What about yourself?
Mate, I purposely slept during round one, just because, very rarely do we trade up, and, the phone would have gone crazy if we had. And then I'm not a draft guy. I think we're saying just before coming, I don't get the hype around it. Yes, these are college kids that are going to become millionaires. Yes, it could change like franchises, but I just don't get the hype around it. So, and not watching college football, you don't really know many of the people. Obviously you get to hear about the kind of the projected kind of top 5, top 10, but still it's just people just for the last 2 months, it's just people just filling the airways and just having to write things. So you just get a load of rubbish, really. But from us, I think we've drafted well from a positional point of view.
Yeah.
It looks like for me that we've gone for need rather than, I assume, quality. But there's no reason why they both can't mix. So do you want to run through our picks, and then just there's a couple of bits I just want to bring up about the rest of the draft as well.
Yep. Cool.
So obviously round 2, pick 21, number 53 overall, Alec Pierce. How many times I'll call him Alex will be unbelievable. Just because that's what I do. Obviously, we lost Pascal in the wide receiver core. We still haven't re-signed TY. So there was a need there. Obviously, Pittman going to be around. Paris Campbell might play. We don't know, obviously. And obviously then we've got the likes of Ashton Doolan. So I guess there was a need there at wide receiver. My biggest shock thing was having a white wide receiver.
Yeah, it's them skill positions, it's hard to find the white boys, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, obviously has nothing to do with it. But I mean, from what I've heard, he's probably somewhere in between a Kyle Granson and a Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
And you know, I've heard he's pretty fast for his size. You know, I think you said it well. We addressed need very well in this draft, but I think what also needs to be said is we addressed our goal line issues.
Yeah.
In this draft, and that's what Alec Pearce is. You know, by the sounds of it and what I've heard of whispers, Twitter, rabbit holes, and all that jazz, it was very much Reggie's pick. Obviously, Chris didn't feel the need to take him that high, and it probably was sort of along the lines of, if he's still there, we will take him, but we'd trade him back.
Yeah.
But it was very much a Reggie pick. Yeah, I mean, of course we're excited to see what these draft guys can do, but is he? If Paris Campbell is fit, you know, is this guy even wide receiver free with people like Ashton Doolin and Des Patman around?
Yeah, taking a wide receiver so high, you know, it just brings flashbacks of Philip Dorsett.
Yeah,
but then we're not under that regime, and definitely, if Chris Ballard wanted him, there'd be a reason, and so you know, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, I trust Chris Ballard with my heart to draft well and to draft well. I mean, you could probably pick out a handful of misses, but that's every single team, every single draft ever.
Yeah.
You know, what you can't pick out with every single team and every single draft ever is picking up Darius Leonard. You know, at the time, the worst pick ever, according to experts. I mean, 1 year later, you would have taken him number 1 overall.
Yeah.
You know, getting Kenny Moore undrafted and stuff like that. And, you know, for Chris Ballard, you see it, his work doesn't start at the draft or in the off season, or, you know, he's constantly ticking. And he talks with that sweet southern charm, so I can't hate the guy.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So we move into round 3, the 9th pick, number 73 overall. I was happy to see a tight end go so high for us.
Mm-hmm.
I love the tight end room, or I did. Obviously, we know my favourite ever player in Sir Jack Doyle was gone, so we needed some sort of replacement there. And there wasn't a lot of talk about us getting a tight end. But when you see a guy named Jelani Woods doing a little bit of research when he came off, I saw tight end. I was like, yes, I want to know more about him. He was a quarterback. He was ranked top 15 in the country at high school at quarterback.
I mean,
so that's hopefully he's got a bit of about him. He's got a bit of X and O's about him. That's got to be good, and he just looks like a bit of a beast.
If that doesn't scream trick play with Frank Reich's playbook, then God knows what does.
So glad that was going to be next to my list.
What I have heard from this kid's camp, I say this kid like he's 12, but this guy's camp, is he's very good at run blocking, and also going back to Alec Pearce, might as well call him Taff. It sounds like it's a proper Taff name, like, isn't it? You know, it's the blocking game what Chris has gone for. You know, essentially you've put Mike Pittman and Alec Pearce, who's not a small guy, next to your left tackle, and Jelani Woods. That's 3 tight end built players blocking for JT.
Yeah, you know, when Pittman first come through, he was just a blocking wide receiver for that first season, really, wasn't he? You know, he did a lot of the grunt work. So hopefully we've got a couple of guys there that can join it. So you know, that's Jelani, Big Mo, Ali, and Carl Granson in the tight end room now. Farad Green as well. I think we probably picked up a couple of undrafted free agents as well.
Yeah.
So that for me was a concern, the tight end room, but you know, obviously can't say that it's fixed with Jelani Woods, as I've never seen the guy, but you know, it sounds promising. And then we go into continue in round 3, pick pick 13, another pick we picked up, number 71 overall. Sorry, 77. Bernhard Raimann, the Austrian-born. Now again, flashbacks of a bit of PTSD of Bjorn Werner.
Yeah.
Like the last European we took in the draft. He plays tackle, which is good. Obviously, we haven't re-signed Fisher. We've got Matt Pryor that looks like he's going to be starting left tackle. So, taking a tackle in a high end kind of a third round, screams to me that he should be pushing for some sort of starting position.
Yeah, I mean, third round is really, it's the round in it where you can either pick up a hidden gem or it's just going to be a 2-year guy and then shipped off to 10 teams in 8 years sort of player.
You couldn't put it any better.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love another Anthony Costanzo. Don't get me wrong, I would love it.
Sound like
but there's a reason. But there's a reason people like him, Q, Kelly, all go high. Braden even went second. I don't know the drop off in talent. It's very. I mean, somebody's probably done an article on it somewhere, creating stats and inventing stats left, right, and centre. But to quote Football Over Here Soccer, the drop off from the Premier League to the Championship is a massive gap.
Yeah.
For me, I know the first round, they're your really talented guy, but between the second, third, and fourth round, it's just a big muddy pool of water, isn't it? So
no, for me that was just it's just another body in that offensive line that was good to see. Still in round 3, obviously Ballard loves his picking up extra second and third round picks. Safety to join Willis and Blackman in the name of Nick Cross.
Yeah.
Again, 96 overall, so he's got to be half decent. But for me, it's just good to get more cover in that safety room.
I've heard very good things about this kid. I mean, it's like we said, Robbie, we're not draft guys. There's 1,000,001 people who probably know more about drafts than me. For me, what matters is come September, game 1. And what we saw with the Colts last year, okay, it didn't end the way we wanted, but the Colts the last 3-4 years is, regardless of position or where you are in the depth chart or who you are, you will get game time.
We've got that. We had that record of always having an undrafted free agent in our roster for like the last 20 years, whatever it is. We didn't pick in round 4. We got 1 pick in round 5, 2 in round 6, and 1 in round 7. 2 defensive tackles, a tight end, and a defensive back. These are the guys that are still going to be fighting for that roster spot when you get picked down there. But for me, that just screams depth to me. Getting 2 defensive tackles and a tight end, that just screams to me as more depth. And then taking a defensive back in round 7, that for me is just taking a punt on. That's what's left in the pack. But it was another defensive back, which obviously helps because losing Rock, not re-signing Xavier Rhodes. They are going to need some bodies there, but I think we should be about covered there now.
Yeah, I mean, we lost our number 1 corner, which was Rock last year, without a doubt. Obviously, for a number 1 edge, which it was a good trade. It was a win-win trade for me. Nobody lost that trade. But then to pick up former Patriot Stephon Gilmore, I'm just going to say, let's remember what happened the last time we picked up a former Patriot cornerback in Kenny Moore.
It worked
well.
Yeah.
But,
right, I definitely agree with that, mate.
Yeah, it's. I'm excited to see this defense, man.
I've literally just brought up our roster depth.
Yeah,
just to see kind of what it's looking. Obviously, there's a long way to go. But can I just read you our defensive side?
Yeah.
Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Yannick Ngakoue. Then you got Darius Leonard, Bobby O, Kari Willis, Julian Blackman, Stephen Gilmore, and Kenny Moore. Wow. Like, I don't want to get too excited at this part of the season, and then you still got people like Isaiah Rodgers. You've got obviously the young lads that have come in, Nick Cross and Eric Johnson. Then you've got Deo as well, Tyquan Lewis, Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed. This is not looking too bad.
But honestly, this defense, is better. It's better than what it was last year.
Compare that to 12 months ago. That's looking good. Quitty's had some good games on. Grover was obviously good last year in points. So my only with obviously Gus Bradley, I'm happy with the defense, and we're not even into the season yet. I've still got a lot of question marks over the offense, but that's why it's the off season. That's why there's still a long way to go. I think there's still going to be a couple of moves in and around the team by the time we get to the season. But that defense, you say it's looking good?
Fucking fantastic. So we know Gus Bradley's a bit of a 3-4 guy rather than a 4-3 guy, but he plays. Let me get this right. Leo, I don't fucking know. Gus Bradley gets paid a lot more to care about than me. But if we go with a 4, let's say we go with a 4-3, that's a 4-3 of Quitty Pay, Yannick, DeForest Buckner, and Deo or whoever else Big can Grove. Fit in there. Yeah, Grove. And mate, it's just nasty, isn't it? It reminds me of, it's got that, to quote football and reference soccer, it reminds me of the late 90s, early 2000s Man United team. In the sense they are just going to bully you off the pitch. They're just going to bully the shit out of you. And if you can't keep up, then, I think Ursay said on Pat's podcast yesterday, get ready to watch some physical football. This team's going to hit hard.
Yeah, no, it's I'm actually a little bit stunned reading that out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I didn't really put 2 and 2 together about the likes of Gilmore, about Yannick, and I'm like, yeah, that's quite exciting.
Yeah. Obviously, we as a Colts team, we've been used to attacking prowess, shall we say, and we've been more the attackers. But now we've got the star-studded defense, and the pressure's off the offense, really. So let's hope the defense turns up for starters.
No, it's looking good. Obviously, looking forward over this week, I think it might even be tomorrow, the London games are announced.
Yeah.
Where there's obviously quite a large chance of us getting the Jaguars.
Oh, I hope so, man. I need to get to that. I hope so.
Did you come down to the last one?
I didn't, because I have a pretty decent excuse. I was on deployment in the middle of the Atlantic. So
how dare Her Majesty the Queen reserve your services?
She did ask me. She rang me up and said, Liz, don't worry about it.
Oh, you're a good serviceman.
Yeah.
So I've got a bit of a sneaky suspicion. A couple of months ago, Ursay was kind of tweeting about England a little bit, and it would be great. But obviously, we'll find the London games this week, but then the main schedule's not out until the 12th of May. That's when I really start getting excited. I'm looking forward to the schedule release. I don't know about you, Harrison, but straight away, first game of the season.
Yeah.
What's happening at Christmas Day? See if there's any Colts games on. Seeing the Thanksgiving Day, and then last game of the season. That's the kind of what I go to straight away, like my kind of let's search through this.
I'm more of a stretch guy. I look at sort of the last 3-4 games, and that's sort of like that no man land time between, like, let's say, November and December. Just that random stretch of games where that's where you're going to find out what your team's got, and that's what I look like. I don't buy into this easier schedule or who has the easiest schedule. It's a load of shit. Next man up, sort of any given Sunday is the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, and then I usually troll through to see how many silly o'clock in the morning games we have.
Yeah, and when they coincide with work, which is always fun to work out.
But it's the perks of being this side of the pond, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
And with West Ham not going to be in Europe next year, hopefully it'll be a lot easier to not be missing the start of games.
I mean, I'm hoping we do get the London game, because Colts in London, surely that means WWE is going to be over in London at some point, I guess, which means hopefully Pat McAfee's over here with his show. So it would be good for the game for Pat to come over to London. Good exposure. And I know it's not going to happen, but I'd love to see a game up in the north.
That won't
Man City. No, it won't happen. But in Manchester or something, that'd be fantastic. And obviously a bit easier for the guys up in Scotland or something.
Yeah, that's the benefit for me, is that I'm literally 23 minutes from Wembley. Oh, and we're back. Harrison, we still around, buddy? We have lost him. The perks of doing a live YouTube show. So when Harrison returns, we'll finish the discussion on the schedule release. And then Harrison actually wanted to touch on, while he messages me, Harrison wanted to touch on Jim Irsay and his discussion with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show about his charity event and the challenges he's put forward to Pat McAfee and his £3 million, which Harrison should be here in a second. Here we go. I was actually literally trying to fill with Harrison. We'll be back in a few minutes. So the perks of being in London for me is that it's literally 23 minutes from door to door.
Yeah.
Which makes my life a lot easier. But I certainly get the kind of key, and obviously, but I think there's more chance of it being in other European countries before it comes up north.
Yeah, I mean, that's just wishful thinking. If it is the Colts down south, obviously I'll have to come down and we could do a bit of a live stream. Maybe even do a bit of a game day vlog sort of thing.
Yeah.
I just want to see the Colts, man. I missed my chance to watch Andrew Luck play.
It wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good day. It was a bad game.
Even so, I never got to watch Andrew Luck play. So for me, I've got to get to watch Jonathan Taylor play. I have to. And this frightening, Darius Leonard, it's a star-studded team, and I've just got to see it.
Yeah, no. And then I was going to segue then into Jim Irsay.
Yes, best owner in the league, the people's champion.
Yes, do you want to fill us in about the charity donation and challenges set by Mr. Irsay?
Hey, so for those who didn't watch it, the greatest NFL owner in the league, Jim Irsay, was on Pat McAfee's show. And let's just say, Pat's fucking killing it. Winning at WrestleMania, getting stunned by Stone Cold, drinking a beer with Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Interviewing Vince McMahon, interviewing people like Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, these big wrestling stars. And now interviewing the owner of the Colts. I know
he's done well for himself, isn't he?
Yeah. Punter of the decade, even though he retired 3 years in, about 7 years into that decade. But yeah, back to Jim. So he just flatly, just full on rock star style, like Jim Irsay always does. Just went, yeah, come and make a 35-yard field goal, 35-yard touchdown pass to Reggie, and I'll put $3 million into charity. $3 mate. Do you know what I mean? We struggle to raise that in Children in Need and Red Noise Day.
Mm.
And the man just went, yeah, $3 million. And I think the charities will be Kicking the Stigma, which is obviously, we talked about it a lot. It's great. and that needs to keep going. I'm a big fan of that charity. I think another one was about like youth in Indiana or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the last one would be a charity of Pat's choice. You know, and we've talked time and time again about Jim Irsay, about having these demons in the past, but turning a leaf, you know, going through all that, going through his father being probably the most hated man in the NFL. You know, I don't feel like he's trying to make up for that, but he's trying to show the world he's not that person.
Yeah.
He's done it to Colts fans, and now he's doing it to. He sent what 20 odd Bengals and Rams fans.
Yeah.
Not even his own team to the Super Bowl. Just went, yeah, go on. Like, and obviously we had Rick on, didn't we?
Yeah.
And he talked massively about Jim Irsay's generosity
And his influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It was good. So obviously Pat's going to make a 35-yarder easily. He'll make it with his eyes closed.
Yeah. And then a 35-yard touchdown pass to Reggie.
Oh, jeez. I could probably do that.
Mean, you could throw it 30 yards away from Reggie and he'd still somehow grab it.
Yeah, no. I guess that's going to be during a halftime. We're not going to get to see it over here. Well, we'll obviously get to see it afterwards on. They'll obviously stream and stuff, but
yeah, I mean they might show it because it's for charity. If it's a Sky game or something, they might show it. But yeah, he just said that they'll choose one of the games. So look out for the big games. You know, maybe I can't think who we're playing this year. Patriots, something like that. One of them sort of games.
One of them ones. No.
Yeah.
We can't leave a session out without talking quarterback.
Yes.
Are you feeling any better about Matt Ryan?
I don't know if I would. I feel bad because Matt Ryan's come into a tough situation. If last year you offered me Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz, I'd take Matt Ryan.
Okay.
Do I think we would have been better staying with Carson Wentz for one more year? Yes. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on it. Do I think either Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan are better than Philip Rivers? No. And I just wish Philip Rivers had had one more year. And I think we're paying for that big time now. Yeah, I don't know. I could talk. I liked what he had to say on, again, what Matty Ice had to say on Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah.
Brung the beers in for the lads. Obviously a sign of a good teammate. Just turning up with beers. But it's become a bit of a initiation, isn't it, for the Colts star people going on Pat McAfee's show.
It tends to be the kind of the media outlet they go to.
Yeah, and I suppose it goes down to the fact that Pat's a person and he treats his guests like people. He's not going to twist what you say, and he's not going to make up headlines for clicks or likes or whatever. But listen, Matty Ice isn't a bad quarterback, is he? You don't stay in the league this long if you're a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
My worry is his arm strength. I don't know if it's the same worry as what I had with Philip Rivers. And I'm just buying into the outside noise a bit too much.
Yeah.
I want to see I'll put it this way, a bit like your quarterback hiatus till April the 1st, or I think it was just before when we actually signed him. I don't want to comment on whether I'm comfortable with Matt Ryan until a couple of preseason videos have come out, maybe even a preseason game, because we it's not his fault, but we just don't know what this offense is going to look like.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head again there. You know, what are the pieces around him. But I'm coming to your camp, mate. Let's get Sammy in there. Let's get the slinger.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy the Erlinger slinger. I mean, again, I was happy.
Let's just throw him in there and just see what happens.
I was happy to ride with Eason. You know I was. And for me, riding with Jacob Eason for a season would have been better than taking Wentz. Granted, Chris Ballard worked his magic. There's got to be something in the Southern charm in that, you know, how he managed to recoup what he did for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't just Carson Wentz's fault we didn't make the playoffs. I think Kenny Moore had a horrendous last three
Oh
games.
yeah, no, you can't Yes, that was just absolutely everyone.
But obviously, someone's head is going to roll, and that's that. But yeah, I'd be excited to see what, you know. I'm not going to get down on anyone. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Sammy the Slinger Erlinger can do.
I've just googled Jacob Eason just because I couldn't remember where he went to.
He went to the Seahawks, didn't he?
Mate, you are on one tonight. But he's got a QB room of Drew Lock, Geno
Who's
Smith,
better now?
and Jacob Eason. Mate, it could be Eason season in Seattle.
Yeah, is DK Metcalf still at Seattle?
Yeah.
A big arm and a fast ride receiver. It just, mate, Super Bowl champion. I said it.
The dream is truly alive. Well, mate, I think we should call it a night.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't have any more to add.
We need to book in someone to do some of these fan events. I just have been a bit relaxed recently.
Yeah, it's work. Real life gets in the way sometimes. And obviously it's a lot of other side of the pond, but we'll keep trying. And we'll, you know, hopefully one comes out in the next couple of weeks.
We shan't be deterred. But yeah, it'd be good to catch up maybe next week or week after just to go through the London games, especially if the Colts are there. We can be excited. And then, a couple of weeks again. Yeah.
My way too early for the prediction for the season, 17-9.
It's never too early, mate.
17-9. Here we go.
Hold on. Let me put one in there. 17-0 is coming.
It's coming on.
Right, hold on, show. 17-0, it's coming. See how I'm starting to play with the system to actually understand how it actually works.
Yeah.
Right, Harrison, enjoy your evening at work, buddy. And I'll speak to you soon.
See you later.
See you later, guys.